you know. So could you tell me a little bit about yourself? Where you grew up? You grew up in East London, but how was your childhood?
I was born in East London at Free Hospital, but I wasn't here long.
Okay.
I was like about 3 the first time we moved. I moved my mother. They moved to Solo. And then we came back to East London, and then I was like in grade R here. Then the following year I was in Pietermaritzburg, moved to Aunt for grade R and grade 1. Then I moved to Johannesburg to my mother, because she was in Johannesburg for grade 2. Came back to East London to my grandparents for grade 3. And then I stayed at St. Anne's. I was at St. Anne's primary school. I was there until grade 6. And then I left school. Back to Johannesburg to my mother, because I wanted my mother. So I went back to Johannesburg. I was there for grade 6, the rest of the term, the rest of the year. And my grandfather started pressing for me to come back to East London.
So your grandfather is from East London?
They were living here while I was moving around. They were constantly staying in East London. They never moved. They were in East London. So he was like, come back home. And I had to make that decision because at the time I was getting scouted by the Open Academy scholarship.
Okay. Is it that school that you opened or what?
Yes, the school that you opened in Johannesburg. Okay. So they were scouting people up from these disadvantaged schools.
And was it for specific purpose or because for an academy or school to scout you, there should be something going on?
Academically, I was very strong. I was very strong academically because I had arrived in Johannesburg in June.
Okay.
By the awards, I took all the awards in the class. It was open, so that's why the teachers put me on without me knowing. Grade 6. This was without me knowing. They put me on.
Was it the same grade that you were moving and your granddad said you should come?
This is grade 6. In the middle of the year, I left school at St. Anne's. And then I moved to my mother because I was constantly wanting my mother because I was at that age. So then that was a decision I had to make, and I took the decision to come home. I came back home, and ever since East London has been home. I never moved again after that.
So the constant moving around, did it affect you anyhow, school-wise, mentally, family-wise?
I think it made me, it's either going to be weird to say it made me strong academically, because I always had this longing for my mother. The problem was she wasn't there. I wasn't very happy with my father, he wasn't there at all. So for me, going to a new place was like a new start. At least no one knows me here, because now I'm here where I am. Cousins only have both parents involved, so for me I always had it. I also want it. Even though I was with my grandparents, I always had it, that I want also that. So I was longing for that. So when I moved, every move was better, and I was like focusing on my schoolwork, that I always put the way I felt, I always put it into my schoolwork. I was very focused.
You know, you get lots of kids when they're growing up. The constant moving will be very much a disruption. With you, and they would have lots of friends as well. And you know, with lots of friends comes good intention, bad intention. Did you ever have any of those, like the bad intentions? And
as I said, I moved around, and this is my primary school level. I never ever focused on friends. I was very academic into my schoolwork and sport.
yeah. That was just all on you.
I never really had friends. That's what I'm trying to say. In my primary level, moving around, I would always be that one. My books, sport, very good at sport from that age. Very young, grade 1, I was already deep into sport. So I never really had friends at primary level. And also, when living in East London, I had family, we're a big family. So there wasn't even really, my grandfather never gave me a platform to even make myself use of friends. School, after school, it's aftercare. When I get home, it's time to wash, because I make sure that I come from aftercare late enough. So when I get home, it's time to wash, eat.
And when you say aftercare, what was it? Like, what were you guys doing there? Was it like from school and then they take you to an aftercare where they teach you guys.
No, the aftercare is at the school. So name's there, the aftercare at the school. So basically, it's when you just pay extra, so you're there, you do your homework. They make sure you do your homework, you eat. It's basically your homework that
Do
gets.
they help you with the homework as well?
No, not really. That I wasn't there. I was never there.
And then on a report that you mentioned something about abuse, relationship wise. And
Not growing up, I never faced abuse from their parents or anything.
was it in a relationship or what was it?
In a relationship.
Okay, do you want to talk a bit about it? Because I feel like abuse comes in many different forms.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And you want to talk about it a bit and how it affected you? Did it affect you? Was it during school or after school? And how did it affect you?
So, this is my first serious relationship that I went into. I was still at school, high school, grade 11 to grade 6. That's when it started. We were together. And before entering into the relationship, I wasn't even interested in the guy. I never ever looked at him in that way. But as I got older, because looking back now, I realized that it was very premeditated, the relationship on his end. But I didn't have any suspicion about it or anything because he was afraid of my cousin, my older cousin. So what happened was he would follow me around or like, let me take you home from a place that I haven't. But I always gave him that cold shoulder, like, no, bro, what are you doing? Like, what's this? But I don't want to say I was peer pressured into the relationship. But my friends did have, they had somewhat an impact on the taking him because they gave, like not an ultimatum, but they did instigate the relationship. But we ended up together. And not even 3 months in, I was, I'm in matric now. Yeah? Because we started this relationship end of the year in grade 11. So 3 months in, I realized, it's weird the way this guy is extra. Even though it's my first relationship, I don't really know.
But you can tell.
Yeah, but I can tell something is weird. So I broke up with him. And the first thing he done was, he came to the school. He wasn't at school. And he wasn't at school. He dropped out.
Serious?
Yeah. So he came to the school. And I remember with the guy that was by the gate coming into the class and being Scharneck, yes, someone here outside. I'm thinking my mother or someone was there. Why are they going like out in the class, you know? I get out, this guy is there. He's coming to fix the relationship at school. But even then I was confused because I was like, you know, this guy really, now he likes me. And he really loves me. And that's why I took him back because I was like, this is extra, it's the extra mile. Took him back. And not even long after that, that's when you would like, when we go out, nobody must be around me. Also still thinking, no, and this is not psychotic, this is in love. This guy really, you know, cute. But then, but then it started getting real. And in that third month, as I said, you have 3 months and I left him. So it's March, yeah. So it's March. He done that, what he done. I took him back. A month later, I think it was Mother's Day. It was going to be Mother's Day. And he wished me, he said, Happy Mother's Day. And I was like laughing, and my friends, we were like chilling, just walking occupied. A month later, I found out I'm pregnant. So we were together for 3 months. I left him. The minute I took him back, I was pregnant. You don't count the year, the previous year, because I only started dating end of December. I was pregnant, so by the time we were together for a year.
So you got pregnant in grade 12?
In grade 12 at school. So by the time our relationship was a year, I had given birth to a child. It was a December April. After that, that's when it went completely different relationship. This was the physical.
After the baby.
After the baby, then we had physical altercation, where you would get physical. The first time it happened, I was so shocked. I didn't even really make a scene about it.
So what shocked you? Was it that he laid hands on you?
Yes, it was very shocking that it would get to that point. And the fact that we had just welcomed the child, I had just given birth. And I swear from my kind. Sorry. So I had just given birth, and about 3 months later, that's when the first altercation happened. I remember it was my son's baptism. Yeah. So where there was a party at the club, it was Valentine's, and almost farewell at the club. It was an event. So he is the one that motivated me to go to this event, you know. We are soon after.
The event wasn't meant. It wasn't you guys that did it for the child.
No, there was just an event in that same day. So the baptism didn't happen. I know we came 5 minutes later. We were like a few parents that came late at church, so our children weren't baptized. But this event was already planned. It was like an event, just happening in East London. And he had bought tickets for us. So we were like a group, my friends, his friends. And we were there, we went to the event. And I remember dancing on the dance floor. This is the first time. Dancing on the dance floor and with someone, and he comes, runs like under the and he literally tackles me basically.
He tackles you?
Off the dance floor, yeah. And then he's sitting there on top of me like literally choking me. And that was the first time that it really got so physical. I didn't make a fuss about it.
Yeah, but it wasn't the first time you dated.
That was the first time.
That was the first. That was hectic for the first time.
Very hectic. That's why I'm saying I was so shocked. I was more than anything shocked. I wasn't even cared about the fact that it happened. I was just speechless.
Because most people, very first time would be, say, indoors, behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But he did it like
Very public. But as I was saying, I left him 3 months into the relation and I noticed something is weird about him, the way he is with me. So people already knew. It wasn't a shock for the people.
they already knew how he was.
Yeah, he in general when he came to me with other people. It was his first time that he was touching me. But not the first time that he's laid hands with someone else when he comes
So
to me.
nobody else ever told you.
No, I've heard about it because we weren't there. Because every time in those times when I was leaving him, we would hear that she was with that person, and the next thing I know, I hear that he fought to that person with that umbrella. So people were getting, he was physical with other people. This was the first time with me. And that's how my friends were literally, there's not one friend of mine, close friend, that they had at the time, that didn't have a physical altercation with them. I'm talking about female friends. We went through all my friends because this is how they there for me, so if I go out to them, we find a way to get to us, and then that's how very got. My friends were involved, people like started seeing it. And I don't know why, but I had that thing that is the child, my child's father.
So let's fast forward. How did you move past that? If you give me.
How did I get that? He almost killed me 2 years ago. He broke into our house. He came into the back door and broke windows and to make bed and opened a bottle in the house and made the legs connect. And I started bleeding. I was literally bleeding. And I made a case, but it was like the third case I did. This is how I got her, but then all this more things that happened before this, but the getting rid, how I it actually ended up like really needing. So I had a warrant. There was a warrant for invalidity. I had protection all this easy. We had a case that he really had lost, so we got 2 years outside. because it was his first offense, according to the court. So it was now 2 years ago on Valentine's Day, then when the court. I made a case, and for 2 years the case was going on. And I think that's what really kept me away from it, because of the child was around. Because it was such a...
So during the wait, he was still free, he was leaving.
He was free. He was free, and he was in and out of my life with the child. I was
And how
saying
did
to
that make you
see.
feel? Because it's not the first time I'm hearing of this kind of. It's the first offense, or it's the first offense. So they let you slide, and so it's, for me, it almost feels like they're waiting for the person to actually die, and then after that they're going to arrest the person and then still let them out.
That's how I felt. I gave up. I was at a point where I didn't even care about going to the police officers, because he has taken me. We've had a fight before, and he's taken me to the police station himself, forcefully taken me to there
For you to report.
to make the case. And when I get inside, they come out is gone. But he also has friends. He also has friends that
Then I thought,
him, and is playing soccer for them. So we had the people like.
yeah.
He's a person that really is liked from the community, because the good person. He would have moved forward that relationship one. So then this case was going on and telling him for 2 years. I'd forgotten about this case, but I was over him at that time. I didn't look back into 2 years until 2 months ago when he was sentenced.
Okay.
But he's also still outside, but it's 9 years.
So how did the sentence seem that he's still out? How does that work? Do you know anything about that?
I know he lost the case, and they found me, and they ask you, okay, it was 2 years later, how do you feel now? Do you want him to get straight jail time, I guess, then straight to jail time? And I was the one that said no. My child's father, I don't actually want that for him, and in the 2 years he hasn't been, coming around, but they also told me that the only reason he hasn't done anything is because of this case it was lingering. But
Because that's the same thing.
yeah, but they couldn't let him go this time because there were so many charges against him. So it's like, I know you got a bigger sentence.